All right, welcome to Math Replay. I'm your teacher, Mr. Chavis. This is episode 6. And today we're going to replay adding and subtracting whole numbers. All right, let's get to it. We have a question here. How do you add and subtract whole numbers? Well, that is the question. In example A, we have a statement here. It says, find the total area of Lake Michigan and Lake Ontario. All right, well, over here in the data file, we have the 5 Great Lakes. We have Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. As you can see, according to the statement, if we wanted to find the total area of Lake Michigan and Lake Ontario, Lake Michigan is 67,900 square miles. Wow. And Lake Ontario is 34,850 square miles. Over here, the estimate of 67,900. We round that to 70,000, and we also round the 34,850 to 30,000. But if we wanted to know the exact square miles, we would have to add both numbers together right here, 67,900 and 34,850. Well, in step 1, you can see it's already laid out for you, but there are some things missing. Okay, in step 2, everything is done for you. Now, what I'm going to show you is exactly how they got this answer here and what are these numbers up here. Okay, are you ready? All right, let's begin. Now, as you can see, as we come over here in the toolbox, let's get our right color. Now, let's try a dark gray. There we go, dark gray. All right, now 67,900 plus 34,850. Now, we always start on the right-hand side, which is the ones place here. And then we move over to the tens and the hundreds and the thousands and then the 10,000s. All right, if we start in that place, 0 plus 0 is obviously 0. Now, as we move to the tens place, 0 plus 5 is 5. Okay, we get that. Now we have to move over to the hundreds place. And if you look over here in step 2, this is where some numbers were added on top of numbers. And we want to know how or why. And this is why. Now, when we add 9 plus 8, that's 17, correct? Now, the 7 will go right here. Now, the 1 we carry to the thousands place. And that's how that 1 got there from over here. You understand? Okay, now when this 1 is carried over, what we're going to do is we're going to add that also to the thousands place. So we have 1 plus 7 is 8, and then 8 plus 4 is 12. Now, this is where this 2 comes from, as you can see over here. Now the 12, we put the 2 here, and then we carry the 1 to the 10,000s place. You understand? Okay, now we add this 1 plus the 6, which gives us 7, and then 7 plus 3, which gives us 10. And then we bring it down, making sure everything is in its place. And then we count 3 spaces over to put our comma. 1, 2, 3. And this is how the answer was 102,750. And that's why those numbers were up there. We had to carry numbers to the next side, to the preceding place value to the left. All right? Okay. Now let's go to example B, where we're dealing with subtraction. Now, subtraction, we have a series of numbers down here, 4,006, and we want to take away 2,748 from that. And then we have the final answer over here, but it looks very confusing. A lot of slashes and numbers, and what's going on here? Well, let me explain it. Let me try to explain it to you. So let's come over here in the toolbox once more, and let's change our color to red, okay? Now, the original number here was 4,000. 4,006, and we want to take away 2,748. All right, let's see if we can do this. Now, the first thing, just like we did when we were adding, we want to start at the ones place. Okay, here's the ones place right here. Now we have 8, and we're going to try to take 8 from 6. But as we all know, that's impossible. Now, the rule is that when we can't subtract our our lower number here from the top number, we're going to go to the next place value, which happens to be the tens place. And we're going to try to borrow something from the tens place. But as you can see, it's a 0. We can borrow nothing from a 0. So we have to go to its neighbor, which is the hundreds place. And as you can see, again, there's another 0. So we have to make our way all the way over to the thousands place. Now we can borrow one number from here. If we borrow a number from here, it becomes a 3. You understand? This is how we got a 3 over here. This is how we got that 3 right there. All right, if we borrow 1 from here, it becomes a 3. Well, that 1 we borrow, we'll give it to the hundreds place. Now, the reason why we're going to do that is because we need to borrow 1 from the hundreds place. And that becomes a 9. And the 1 we borrowed from the hundreds place, we're going to give that to the tens place. Here you go, tens place. Now that 0 now becomes a 10, as you can see. Now, finally, we can borrow from the 10, and 10 becomes a 9, and that 1 we borrowed, we will give to the ones place. And now that 6 becomes a 16. We can finally subtract now. Okay, let's see. Let's take 8 from 16. And if we do that, that'll be an 8, right? Right. Now let's subtract 4 from 9. And that gives us a 5. Let's subtract now 7 from 9 here in hundreds place. And that gives us a 2. And now let's subtract 2 from 3 in the thousands place. And that gives us a 1, right? Now we count 3 spaces over, remember? 1, 2, 3, and put our comma. Whew, we did it. 1,258. Just like we have over here. Now, if you need a little more practice and you want to know how that's done again, you can always rewind this episode, okay? Feel free to do so. Now, let's give one more example of addition, okay? Just like a big number up here in the 10,000s place, all right? So let's pick, say, maybe 75,323, and we're going to add that to 23,415, all right? Now, when we're adding, we're going to start at the ones place again, and we're going to have to carry numbers over eventually. You'll see. Watch. Or maybe not. All right, so 5 plus 3 is, yes, 8. Now, 2 plus 1 is 3. Good. 3 plus 4. Right, 7. Now, 5 plus 3 is 8. Good. And the last one, 7 plus 9 is, yes, 9. One more thing to do. Let's count 3 spaces over. 1, 2, 3, comma, and we're done. 98,738. Good job. Good job. Now, since we're talking about the Great Lakes, I got a little something special for you. Maybe you can take a listen for a few minutes, and I hope you enjoy a few facts about the Great Lakes.
In the center of the North American continent lies a tremendous natural phenomenon, a massive body of water known as the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes hold the largest concentration of fresh water on the planet, 1/5 of the world's surface supply. They cover an area of almost 100,000 square miles, holding enough water to cover the entire continental U.S. to a depth of over 10 feet. These inland seas are greatly respected for their power and fury. Storms explode across hundreds of miles of open water. Mountainous seas strike swifter and in more rapid succession than the deadliest waves of any ocean. Consequently, thousands of vessels have met violent fates. Storms in late fall, especially those in November and December before the winter freeze, are particularly severe. The Europeans learned of the lake's fury when their first sailing ship, the Griffin, disappeared on her maiden voyage. By the late 16th century, hundreds of wooden schooners plied the hazardous waters of the lakes. They carried supplies west from New England and returned with furs and other goods for the east. Over the years, technology advanced quickly. By the early 1800s, wooden steamships appeared, followed in the 1880s by steel-hull vessels. By the 1800s, the Great Lakes were the busiest waterway in the world. Thousands of vessels sailed and steamed across the lakes, transporting raw materials, finished products, and passengers. Speed was not the main concern for ships on the Great Lakes. The volume of cargo a ship could hold was of greater importance. The larger the freight capacity, the higher the return for the boat's owners. Prosperous shipyards around the lakes created brand new designs and refitted older vessels for the very profitable business of lake transport.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, that's our lesson for today. I'm your teacher, Mr. Chavez. I'll see you next time on Math Replay.